$80. That is the price of a small problem. A dead battery. A prescription. A bill you forgot was coming. For one person, $80 is an inconvenience. For another, it is the first domino in a month of debt. The bill is exactly the same. So, what changes at every level of emergency savings? Imagine a worker named Alex. Alex has less than $100 set aside. One morning, the car will not start. The mechanic wants to be paid today. The next paycheck arrives next week, and the emergency fund cannot cover the repair. So the problem immediately looks for somewhere else to go. It can move on to a credit card. It can push another bill into next month. It can become a loan from a relative. Or it can remain unpaid while the consequences grow. This is how one financial shock becomes several financial problems. The repair may create interest. Another bill may be delayed. The delay may create a fee. And the broken car may still cause lost work. Those extra costs appeared because there was no financial space to contain the first problem. Now imagine another worker facing the same repair. This worker has $1,000 in accessible savings. The repair is paid. The emergency fund becomes smaller. But the problem stops spreading. No new credit card balance appears. No other bill needs to be delayed. The repair remains a repair. That is the real function of emergency savings. It does not make bad events disappear. It controls what those events are allowed to become. But does $1,000 make a person financially safe? Not necessarily. It may absorb a repair. It may not replace a missing paycheck. To understand the difference, separate liquidity, shock absorption, and time. Liquidity describes how quickly money can be used without selling an asset or creating new debt. Money in an accessible savings account can be used immediately. A possession may take days to sell. An investment may have to be sold at a bad moment. A credit card creates an obligation instead of using a reserve. Now think of your monthly budget as a row of dominoes. Rent stands beside food. Food stands beside transportation. An unexpected bill is a stone thrown toward that row. Emergency savings acts like a cushion between the stone and the first domino. It does not erase the impact. It prevents the impact from traveling farther. Federal Reserve Survey data from 2025 shows why this matters. 63% of adults said they would cover a hypothetical $400 emergency with cash savings or a credit card paid off at the next statement. 70% said they could handle an expense of at least $500 using only current savings. Some people may have savings but preserve that cash for rent, food, or another possible emergency. The question is not only whether money exists, the question is what else that money must protect. The next mechanism is financial runway. Runway measures how long essential expenses can be covered after income stops. Divide liquid emergency savings by essential monthly expenses. $6,000 may represent 3 months for someone spending $2,000 a month. The same balance may represent only 6 weeks for someone spending $4,000. The money is identical. The protection is not. Emergency savings eventually stops being measured only in dollars. It begins to be measured in time. In 2025, 55% of adults said they had savings for 3 months of expenses after losing their main source of income. 30% said they could not cover 3 months through the options included in the survey. 3 months is not a universal commandment. It is a common measure of financial resilience. The reserve must match the risks most likely to arrive. Now we can look at the levels. Level 1 is no real cushion. This level sits below $100. Federal Reserve data shows that 18% of adults said the largest emergency they could handle using only savings was under $100. At this level, even a modest surprise may become debt, a delayed payment, or a favor requested from someone else. The next level does not create wealth. It creates containment. Level 2 is the small buffer from $100 to $499. Some minor problems can now be handled directly. Some minor expenses may no longer require new debt. But one use can nearly empty the reserve. Level 3 begins at $500. More everyday shocks can be absorbed without disturbing the rest of the month. But paying one unexpected bill is not the same as being prepared for lost income. The shield may stop one stone. It may not stop the storm. Level 4 is the 4-digit cushion from $1,000 to $1,999. A larger repair or insurance deductible may become easier to manage. But two emergencies arriving close together can still consume the reserve. At this level, the challenge is deciding what truly qualifies as an emergency. Level 5 runs from $2,000 to $4,999. One financial surprise no longer has to rewrite the entire month. The reserve may handle a repair while leaving something for the next problem. But $4,000 may cover 2 months for one person and less than 1 month for another family. The account balance now matters less than the time it represents. Level 6 begins at $5,000 and then moves beyond fixed dollar amounts. The meaningful measure becomes months of essential expenses. At this level, emergency savings can buy recovery time. It can give someone time to search for work. It can reduce pressure to sell an investment during a bad market. It can turn a damaged car into a transportation problem instead of an employment crisis. But even this level has a trade-off. Emergency money needs to be accessible. Long-term money needs time to grow. Too little cash can make a household fragile. Far more cash than a household reasonably needs can create an opportunity cost. There is no single balance that solves this tension for everyone. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says the amount needed depends on personal circumstances and likely unexpected expenses. Your emergency fund should reflect your life rather than a number copied from someone else's life. Start by asking what usually goes wrong. Is your car old? Is your income irregular? Do you have a high insurance deductible? Does anyone depend on your paycheck? Then ask how quickly essential bills consume cash. The number in the account matters. The speed of the leak matters just as much. $5,000 beside $2,000 of monthly essentials is not the same as $5,000 beside $5,000. Then ask what protection already exists. Insurance may absorb part of a loss. Paid leave may protect income for a limited time. A second household income may reduce the damage caused by one lost job. These protections are not identical to cash, but each one changes the size and shape of the risk. You should also separate emergencies from predictable expenses. A car repair can be unexpected. Routine maintenance is not. A medical emergency can be unexpected. A known annual premium is not. An emergency fund is not meant to pay every expensive bill. Predictable costs belong in separate savings because their arrival is already visible on the calendar. The purpose is not to judge your current level. The purpose is to understand what that level can absorb. A person with $50 saved has not failed a moral test. A person with $5,000 has not eliminated uncertainty. Income, housing, health, family obligations, and opportunity affect how quickly savings can be built. Even a small reserve can interrupt part of a financial chain reaction. Every level changes something. Below $100, the objective is creating separation between a surprise and new debt. Between $100 and $500, some small shocks stop spreading. Between $500 and $1,000, more ordinary emergencies become manageable. Between $1,000 and $5,000, the reserve protects more of the monthly budget. Beyond that, the real question becomes how much time the money can buy. Now return to the original $80 bill. The amount has not changed. The battery is still dead. The morning is still disrupted. Emergency savings does not make the problem disappear. It changes what the problem is allowed to become. At one level, money pays for the repair. At another, it protects the next bill. At a higher level, it protects the next paycheck. And eventually, it buys time. It buys time to recover without turning one bad day into a bad month. It buys time to make a decision without panic choosing for you. So the real question is not simply how much money is in your emergency fund. What can your current level stop from happening next?